Hello everyone, this video details what I have learned while sculpting heads like this bust in Blender. This applies to any digital sculpting application, not just Blender. This concept is loosely based off of an artwork by Meybis Ruiz Cruz on ArtStation. Let's take a look at how I did it. But before we do, please hit that like button if you enjoy this type of content. Also subscribe and select the notification button so that you can get updates when I post them. I intend to post one new update every week. I will appreciate your comments about my videos, as your comments will help me to create better ones and let the YouTube algorithm recommend my videos to audience like you. Here are the list of things I've learned while practicing head sculpts. Number 1. Head proportions. The Loomis method works in 3D. It is a drawing technique developed by Loomis, an American illustrator and author. It simplifies the process of creating realistic and expressive portraits by breaking down the structure of the head into basic shapes and measurements. In summary, the vertical center of the eye is essentially the vertical center of the head. The eyebrows are a third way from the top of the head. The base of the nose is a third way away from the bottom of the head, and the back of the head is bigger than I imagined. That part isn't actually a Loomis technique. Number 2, use the blockout method. It works for heads as well. I've always been an advocate for blocking out, especially for new artists. Working with smaller parts is always easier than the whole. Different parts can use different resolutions. It is possible to iterate when parts are separate. Fixes are much easier with separate parts. And hiding parts to enable focus on other areas is also much easier when separate. Number 3, use the right amount of geometry. Always use the least geometry necessary. Remesh to get more geometry as soon as it's needed. But for the most part, use only that which you need. Different meshes can have different resolutions. Remember that. It's not essential to have all meshes having the same resolution. Try to improve on the sculpt in small increments and slightly shape different parts and note how they affect the overall form. Remember, if the parts are kept separate, it becomes easier to shape, resize, and reposition them while noting how the changes affect the overall form. You can see me do this with this bust. Number 4, parts to pay the most attention to. The eye sockets, the nose, and the mouth are the 3 parts to pay the most attention to when sculpting a head. The eye is the area of the body that people are most familiar with. It is the easiest spot to discern if something is a little off with. One might think that people generally have little reason to pay attention to other people's nose, but it is just at the center of the head and very difficult to not pay attention to. The mouth is another area to pay attention to, basically because it's very easy to mess up while sculpting. So while sculpting a head bust, you pay the most attention to the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Number 5. When to use various tools and the settings that work for each. Blender sculpting has come a long way in the last couple of years. It is now very easy to use lots of different tools to create models like this, using almost any sculpting technique. Before sculpting, it is best to run through the settings of all the tools that are frequently used and get a general setting. Things like the stroke and intensity that don't change that often should be set to a desired value. Experiment with the values when you start to get a set of what works best for you. My go-to brushes are the grab brush, the crease brush, the clay strip brush, and the smooth brush. I tend to use these brushes about 80% of the time, and so I have a general setting for all of them. Number 6. Always work from reference. When I start sculpting a model, I usually have a very clear design. I achieve this by gathering references related to the topic from different sources. Don't rush this process. It can actually speed up your overall project in the long run and give you better results. However, there is something like too much reference. It can become a burden to pick out the right references to use for a part of the model. So be careful and deliberate about the process. And finally, number 7, repetition. Get your miles. Use different types, ages, genders, races, and gestures to recreate your own art piece. You can only get better if you try to get better. And that's it for this. I hope you like, subscribe, and share this video. Enjoy the rest of the time lapse.